supposed to be traveling, singing on big stages all over the world at the moment. Yeah, but they closed down all the theaters, and of course this is it's a tragedy for all artists, because suddenly from being a traveling artist, you are unemployed at home.
You have also jazz club.
Yeah, we've been our jazz club have to close almost 2 months.
Oh.
Yeah, we closed from 14th of March, which is 15th of March, that the mayor of Hanoi, it's decide to close all the entertainment club.
You know, Vietnam history has been going through a lot of wars, but because we work together as a whole body, we were able to push back the invaders over and over. Vietnam has a very big population.
Yeah.
The density is very high.
There's a 19 million.
So it means that we have very high risk. If we don't have necessary steps to protect ourselves. So that's why Vietnam, we start to we have action very early. Otherwise, everything's collapsed.
Most of people in Vietnam are very proud of our country, proud of our system. Yes, because you have said that Vietnam is very close to China, and why China have tens of thousands people died of coronavirus, and on the second stage, a lot of countries around the world also face the same situation. But Vietnam now we still have under 300 cases, infected cases, and more than 80% have totally recovered from coronavirus, and no one dead. Are also very motivated and moved because of the images of doctor and soldier who works very hard for us. So yes, and we are aware that each of us have to a small part of the chain to fight against coronavirus.
I feel very safe in Vietnam. At first, there were very little people on the streets.
How you manage your daily life during the lockdown or
So
masks?
now what they're making us do is that, as much as possible you stay home, right? And every household has one ID. So only one person for each household can go out to do whatever, grocery shopping, marketing, etc. So I'm the one who go out. My husband is high risk because he has diabetes, so vulnerable. So it's not advisable for him to go out. He has to be extra careful. In our neighborhood, there's a checkpoint.
Okay.
So you show your card. So you can't get out or get in without that card.
Now, look, that's a lovely system. I mean, well, maybe the Americans should learn from Philippines.
Oh no, we are in many other ways. It's really bad for us.
Since I'm living in the United States, so actually we are becoming aware of that virus very early on. But as you know, that the government didn't do much. But actually, we were told that we are safe, nothing to worry about. But then now look, as of today, over 1 million people have been infected. We've been so vulnerable, and that's why so many people, died because of this. I mean, like misinformation or ignorance.
Well, this is my balcony. We're living in a flat condo.
Okay.
I have the guarantee of my life for the next 2 weeks, let's say. But there are a lot of people out there here in Colombia. They live on their own daily on their own daily earnings. So if they don't work today, they don't have to eat tomorrow.
Supermarket have left nothing behind. People selfish and take all the toilet paper and or the bread or the flour. They just take it all. But that's not what I experienced here. All the supermarkets, people buy what they need and they go home. They don't over prepare and selfish and take everything.
People here panic.
Panic
buying toilet paper and sanitizer.
The Somalis really thought that the virus can never affect them, so they just don't believe in it. So they think they are so strong that the coronavirus could not harm them. And that was like what I liked, because you've seen that the people in Europe panicked, got to the grocery stores, bought all those toilet papers and pasta. And all those Somali people came to me because they knew that I was German and asked me why those people buy toilet paper and all those pasta. What do they do with it? And I was there like, I really don't know, because like in the Islamic culture, you don't even use toilet paper, so it was not really for sense at all.
It was a useless things. Unimaginable.
Exactly. They really imagined that we cook the toilet paper with the pasta together. So like all those memes when they said, okay, we make a new dish with like pasta and toilet paper on it. This is what they really thought, that we're going to eat it maybe in bad times.
This particular little thing has happened in the whole globe. I mean, in our lifetime, in my lifetime, there has never been such an experience. I never imagined that there would come a time that the whole globe would shut down. So I only go to the office just once a week for sittings of only 3 hours, and I'm back in the house, working from home, having Zoom meetings, having meetings with colleagues.
I am residing in a place from that about 2 kilometer distance. There was a patient, there was a man who was affected. His travel history was, he came from China. So after some days, symptoms of coronavirus appeared. So he was an educated man. He was PhD doctor. Therefore, he realized that if I conceal, I can spread it. Therefore, he himself approached to the health department
the health department and local administration put him to the hospital, and that very street was closed and was under observation for a certain period. So when he was recovered and the authorities prayed to disinfect the area, the whole area, not only that one street, but the whole vicinity. And after that, the street was opened. At that time, it was a complete lockdown of that very area, and people were not allowed to go or to out. Exit and entrance was banned, but only with certain specific reasons.
How do you feel about the coronavirus?
Sad?
It's quite devastating, and it's quite difficult to manage because now all the work is stopped, so we are on lockdown.
Your family and relatives are in Singapore. How is in Singapore?
As for in Singapore, I feel that this is just my personal opinion. We have a very strong reliance on what the government tells us to do. Even I myself, someone who's so rebellious, has a tendency to listen to that. For example, about not wearing a mask. It sounds scientific, it sounds logical, that initially the advice was wear a mask only if you are sick. So we actually do that, but when we came to Vietnam, we realized that we shouldn't do that. We have to wear a mask everywhere we go.
Yeah.
So we
Always
follow. And even up till now, it's so difficult for Singaporeans to actually take the initiatives for themselves. You have the government going around with ambassadors telling them, please wear a mask. If not, we have to fine you $300.
They will find them.
And they'll fine them $300 for not wearing a mask overnight. So I feel that there is that reliance in Singapore, and I'm quite worried at that.
Initially in Kosovo, we had only 2 cases, 2 infected people, but then obviously they started to close the schools in neighboring Albania, and a little bit later here, from one day to the next actually. And I must say, at the beginning I thought, oh cool, we will have extra holiday, we will have 1 or 2 weeks extra holidays and then it's going to be over. But by now it's been a bit long, to be honest.
Well, at the beginning it was like normal, but once that broke out in the US and more people were coming by plane, that got serious here, and the government took action, and slowly they start the lockdown.
The Japanese government which declared that it will take measures to stop the virus at the border could not prevent the influx of viruses. In a sense, it can be said that Japan is occupied by an external virus, external enemy.
I think it affected like bigger cities in Australia like Melbourne and Sydney much more quicker, and people were, I don't know, had like a kind of different reaction than they did in Perth to some degree, until we also realised that it's very much likely to affect us as it is them as well.
Last time I lived in a city was in Munich, and it was, I think I left in 94, 95 and went to the countryside. So I moved since then, but I'm always outside in the countryside. And here in my village, the only place where you see it is the bakery down the road, where suddenly then I could see it, because until then didn't see any difference. Sun is shining, I can have a walk, and still it is. I've seen apparently in the cities it's pretty bad because you have the police. You're not supposed to go there and there. Here I haven't seen any police.
And using masks or something like that.
The only place where I saw masks were at the bakery, and since this week, since Monday, even I have to wear a mask. So it's funny because I play with it. It's really interesting the psychological effect it has on people. Suddenly, they don't greet on the streets. Before they were saying hello, yes, good morning, and now no, it's behind their mask, and so they don't look at you. As long as they see you have some sort of white thing there, it's okay. They don't look precisely. And my mask, I can't remember exactly how I got this one, but I think it was back in India. It was 98. I had this. I can show you that a second.
Okay.
So Alaska is a good place to be during this pandemic, though we have only about 370 cases and 10 deaths so far. And the spread is very slow here because there's very low population density. So there's not a lot of people and there's a lot of space for everybody. So that's good. I wouldn't want to be in New York or even in Frankfurt.
Do you know when appeared in Alaska?
Yes, it appeared exactly when we expected it to appear. So in March, there is 1 week that's spring break where school is on vacation. And we know that traditionally Alaskans like to travel in March because March is still, in March we still have about 2 months of winter to go and the kids have a vacation. And then people travel south. So they travel out of state, they travel to Hawaii, they travel to Las Vegas, to those places. And we had no cases before that, at least not reported cases. And after spring break, when people started coming back, the first cases started to appear.
Yeah. So that's I had this for ages closed, but I didn't realize it's for children. So that's my mask. But it doesn't matter. I wore it many times now, so that's the mask, and it's too small,
That's very
it's
small.
not problem. But that's okay because the people they don't look,
Yeah.
So there's something white. They don't see that the side are open, so I can breathe because it's dangerous anyway,
I didn't feel very close to me because we didn't have any, much people in here, specifically in Perth, too many sick people in here, and just as a normal one, mostly in the city and Melbourne.
We finished our project in the desert, and we handed over our hospital to another organization, and so we moved to the capital, moved into a nice apartment, and spent there the first 3 days and started to prepare our assessment throughout all the country to look out for neglected area to start new projects. So as we moved there, we heard about the whole progress that the whole travel is going to be shut down, that countries closing their borders. In between, the coronavirus got to Italy, and there was no dangerous situation at all until the first case of coronavirus appeared in Mogadishu, in Somalia. And as soon as the first case of coronavirus arrived in Mogadishu, they say that in between the next 72 hours, they're going to shut down all airports and all borders, even for Somaliland. This was the time where all other NGOs and even the UN started to evacuate their people, their expats. So I went to the airport without even knowing that I can get to Germany. And in that moment we got there, I got the ticket to Germany. So it was like really last minute flight booking, very exciting. So and a couple hours later I landed in Germany, in Frankfurt. And that's how I got back.
When was that? Do you remember when was that?
The exact date was on the 18th March. So I came from Ethiopia, landed in Frankfurt, and there was no such thing as temperature control or to like infection prevention control, any kind of action there.
There was no security. There was no security at no area of the airport.
My sister, Katharina, picked me up at the airport and I was very glad to see her again after such a long time. She was very happy and it was like the first hug with a loved person since a very long time and it felt amazing.
I was so happy that he came back to Germany and he's okay.
There in a Muslim country, you have a social distance, like to everyone, every time. So, and this moment when I first saw my sister and gave a real nice hug, was like I felt the love and I felt like home.
I don't care anything about social distancing.
The first 2 weeks was like only quarantine, self-quarantine, because nobody at the airport told me to go into quarantine. Nobody got me like any regulation or restriction. I learned to have a new sight on my home again, to appreciate the small things, like running tap water, even you want it cold or you want it warm, like having warm shower without even like having a cup to pour over my head. This is what I did 6 months.
I'm a very grateful person and I'm thankful that I'm living in a country like Holland, and I'm very easygoing, so I know that the things that we have here in Holland, it's not something that is very obvious because this is new for everyone, but it's all about your own mindset. If you are living in Western countries, you have everything that you want to have. The most of the people, because of course also in Western country there are a lot of people without insurance, without healthy situations, homeless people, of course. But I'm not like that. I'm just very easygoing. My thoughts are always on the people, on the little kids in Africa, that they are getting very difficult times right now, more than ever. So for me, it's no problem to live in a corona time like this.
As a government employee, I have the telework option. So every other week I work 1 day telework, working from home. But then when it started, in the States, actually our organization allowed us to work from home like around 10th of March. And then from the following week, the whole country was, locked down. Actually, business started closing.
In Colombia, we are in quarantine, and for the last month, and we can't go out. So I have a lot of time to write.